Remember Akira? That's from Japan. Remember Galaga and Mrs. Pac-Man? Remember Highlander and Highlander 2? Remember Star Trek? We certainly do. Reading Player One.
Hello and welcome to Reading Player One, a podcast where we read Ready Player One because we don't respect ourselves. I'm Mark Loafers-Lardy. Here with me today is Jessie Nerese and Sam Bixler.
I'm Justine, and I am here because we wanted to do this podcast for quite some time, and I finally had nothing else to do.
It's true, you don't really want to be here.
I am Sam, and I'm here because I'm Jessie's wife, and I also have nothing else to do.
It's true. You know, okay, a little bit of how the sausage is made straight away. We tried to record the first episode of this podcast yesterday, and we just weren't totally satisfied with it. And halfway through the second attempt, Jessie was like, "Can I have my wife on?" They just got on break.
My emotional support wife.
That's me.
It was deeply annoying of you, and was therefore very characteristic.
That's fair. Yeah,
that's
my wife.
Appreciated.
That's my wife.
It's my wife.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm doing a podcast with my two lesbian married Canadian friends. That's what's going down here.
Instead of calling it Reading Player One, can we call it Two Lesbians, One Player?
Maybe.
We'll workshop it. We'll work on it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be worked on.
Yeah.
So I know one of the things we wanted to discuss before we actually went into reading the Player One was talking about kind of our nerd culture, status. So we have some
yes,
more.
A sense of who we are.
What's the word I'm looking for? A sense of who we are. Sort of that we know kind of what we're talking about.
Authority.
Yeah, and that we're not being assholes about it. We're not here to be cinema sins. But, I don't think we're going to, adore this book 10 out of 10. By any stretch of the imagination.
I'm ready to be an asshole about it. I'm ready to destroy this book.
Cool. Good attitude. I mean, I think that's what people are here for. But, yeah. Jessie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh,
again?
Yes, absolutely. So, my name is Jessie, and if I'm talking about sort of my nerd culture, I grew up working at Comic Cons, so basically I lived the Ready Player One. And I would say a lot of my interests growing up were nerdy things. Mm-hmm. So I was into the whole Super Who-Lock thing when I was in 2015. My middle name is from Star Trek, so I grew up watching Star Trek, Star Wars, all the classics, all the 80s movies. I was all immersed in that kind of nerd culture. I will say that I grew out of a lot of that stuff. Mostly what I do now is I watch Megamind analyst videos on YouTube, and that's about my exposure to media.
Yeah, you do.
And so that's pretty much me at the moment, but I do have a fondness and a nostalgia for this sort of all-encompassing capitalistic approach to nerd culture.
Culture.
I'm not a super nerd like Jessie going to Comic-Cons. I've never been to a Comic-Con, but I do have ADHD, so I'm very interest-based. And I also grew up into, Super Who-Lock and stuff. I mostly am a video game nerd at this point, which makes me perfect to read Ready Player One. But yeah, so I mostly just play video games in my spare time, if I can.
Cool. And my whole thing is that I have always had a splash of autism. When I was 13 to 15 years old, I was obsessed with Mario. When Avengers came out, I got into the MCU, and I only really fell off that train gradually going into phase 3 of that. I have, for about a decade now, been that most unfashionable of things, which is a Stephen Moffat stan. For a few years, yeah, disgusting. For a few years, I unironically bought Funko Pops. And over the last few years, as I've kind of refined my political knowledge, I've kind of become disillusioned with quote-unquote nerd culture and how consumerist it's gotten. And I feel like a lot of the magic has gone as it's become more mainstream, is therefore more streamlined to be like zero risk, so that it can be as safe of a business choice as possible, if you understand me. But at the same time, I'm still like a massive nerd, and I'm always going to be.
You know, the last time we were recording this podcast, we had a whole discussion about how Funko Pops kind of have the same energy and vibes as Ready Player One does, with the whole, it's all a bunch of different kind of nerd stories kind of clamored into the same box.
Yes.
Also ugly.
Yeah, also ugly. Will we dive in? It's been a few minutes. We should read the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah, are we good for me to read? Or for now at least?
I'd love to hear your voice
sure.
read this book.
I'll just look at Funko Pops while you do that.
Yeah, and also, like, I am going to repeat some of the jokes from, like, the first recording, so apologies.
I don't remember any of them, so we're all good.
I think you'll remember this one.
I will.
Everyone my age remembers where they were and what they were doing when they first heard about the contest. It's like 9/11 that way, only it's a contest. Yeah.
That's not actually in the book. You got me the first time.
Yeah.
I thought it was in
It's
the book.
not
the
in the
first
book.
time. It's not in the
Not in
book.
the book.
That was a funny
Yeah.
little insert.
No.
That was a funny little insert.
Mr.
And actually, I meant to open with this, but I'll say it now. We're not doing any crimes here. We're not going to put the entire text of the book into the finished podcast, so we're not just like giving away the book for free. It might not even be in order. It falls under for the purposes of review, so don't sue us. That's all.
I want to clarify something as well. We are not doing any Ready Player One crimes. Nothing about crimes against humanity.
Ready Player One is fine.
What are you even talking about? Oh, Mr. Mittens has a Funko Pop. That's adorable.
Okay.
Are you looking up Funko Pops while we're doing a podcast?
No.
I should have noticed you were quiet. I can't believe this. Okay.
No.
Anyway, 9/11.
So 9/11.
I was sitting in my hideout watching cartoons when the news bulletin broke in on my video feed, announcing that James Halliday has died during the night. I'd heard of Halliday, of course. Everyone had. He was the video game designer responsible for creating the Oasis, which is basically VR chat, a massive multiplayer online game that had gradually evolved into the globally networked virtual reality most of humanity now used on a daily basis. You know, like how VR chat worked at. The unprecedented success of the Oasis has made Halliday one of the wealthiest people in the world. At first, I couldn't understand why the media was... Why are you singing a little song? Why are you singing a little song?
Okay, it's Champagne Supernova by Oasis.
Cool.
Fuck.
Someday you will find me. Company for landslide.
I'm gonna stop you there. No crimes.
No crimes.
Yeah. At first, I couldn't understand why the media was making such a big deal out of the billionaire's death. After all, get ready for some science fiction in this bit. The people of planet Earth had other concerns. The ongoing energy crisis, catastrophic climate change, widespread famine, poverty, and disease, half a dozen wars. You know, and I must emphasize, I'm not adding this as a joke. You know, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, setting the tone. Normally...
That's not science fiction, that's just 2020.
It's 2021 now. Yeah, for the record, we're like recording this on the 7th of January, so it is the day after the fascist coup where the MAGAs storms the Capitol. So that's the context, that's the political context of this pod.
We're looking for some funny escapism.
Oh, we're looking for some funny escapism. Normally, the news feeds didn't interrupt everyone's interactive sitcoms and soap operas. I actually like that idea. Unless something really major had happened. Like the outbreak of some new killer virus, escapism.
Oh, come on!
That. Or another major city vanishing in a mushroom cloud. There's some science fiction at last. Big stuff like that. As famous as he was, Halliday's death should have warranted only a brief segment on the evening news, so the unwashed masses could shake their heads in envy when the newscasters announced the obscenely large amount of money that would be doled out to the rich man's heirs. But that was the rub. James Halliday had no heirs. He has died a 67-year-old bachelor, fucking right up until the very end, with no living relatives and, by most accounts, without a single friend. He'd spent the last 15 years of it... it's given me the feels. He'd spent the last 15 years of his life in self-imposed isolation, buddy same, during which time, if the rumors were to be believed...
Mood.
Worm, he's gone completely insane. Again, Worm. So, the real jaw-dropping news that January morning, it's January now. It's truly relatable.
Whoa!
The news that had everyone from Toronto to Tokyo crapping in their cornflakes, kinky, concerns the contents of Halliday's last will and testament as the fate of his vast fortune. Halliday has prepared a short video message, a vlog if you will, along with instructions that is to be released to the world's media at the time of his death. He's also arranged to have a copy of the video emailed to emailed rather than just posted on YouTube or anything, to every single Oasis user that same morning.
Wasn't this 2007? This book came out in 2007, right?
I thought 2011, but I'm not sure.
Oh, they didn't have YouTube in 2011.
That's not true.
You fucking liar. YouTube came out in 2005, I think.
I think 5, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they want you to think. I don't actually consider... I don't consider YouTube as an illegitimate website until Google bought it. Thank you very much. Continue reading.
Whatever. Christ alive. Halliday had harbored a lifelong obsession with the 1980s, the decade during which he'd been a teenager.
Me too.
You were not a teenager in the 1980s.
No, you were born in 94.
Yeah.
I can appreciate different genres of...
Different cultures.
Different cultures.
Different cultures. Both of those are way out. Anyway, it was crammed with obscure 80s pop culture references, nearly all of which were lost on me the first time I viewed it. Kind of flagging the problem with this entire book, I suspect. So how are we finding it so far?
Where are the footnotes?
The footnotes are coming.
Oh, hell yeah.
Some David Foster Wallace
it sure
energy
is a book so far.
Is on the horizon.
Yeah, Sam, you're right. It sure is a book.
It sure is a book. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Bye-bye.
No,
where we read a book.
You're still locked in here with us. I'm gonna keep plowing ahead. The head down, keep going to fuck. Anorak's invitation began with the sounds of trumpets. The opening of an old song called Dead Man's Party. An old song called Megalovania. The song plays over a dark screen for the first few seconds until the trumpets are joined by a guitar. Jesse, give me a guitar.
That's another
fucking
trumpet.
Nailed it. And that's when Halliday appears. But he's not a 67-year-old man ravaged by time and illness. He's a short skeleton. No, he looks just as he did on the cover of Time magazine back in 2014. This bit in particular reminds me of fucking Rudy Giuliani. he's not fucking weird and old. He's as he appeared on the Time magazine back when people respected him. A tall, thin, healthy man in his early 40s with unkempt hair.
Just like Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, and his trained back corner-rimmed guy glasses, unravaged by the cruelty of Borat, unravaged by the embarrassment of 4 seasons total landscaping, unravaged by whatever bullshit he's gonna suffer in the time between recording this and getting it out.
I do want to make a note that you did say guy glasses instead of eyeglasses.
Guy
and I do
glasses.
enjoy just,
Great.
only guys can wear these.
Only guys can wear glasses. If you were wearing glasses and you're a girl, then you're a fake nerd girl.
Good thing I'm not wearing glasses.
Good, yeah. Also, good thing you're not a girl.
That too. Yeah.
Okay, really quick tidbit here. I think we got our first footnote, and I think one of the things we should do in this podcast is stop every time there's a footnote and really take that in, because I think the footnotes are probably the funniest part of this book.
Oh, for sure.
So let's talk about it. I think it's on the 1980s one.
I'm not seeing it.
Does everyone else see that?
I think it's the next page for us, Jesse. I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm super sexy and cool and can find things faster than
and
you guys.
You got the book from your local library.
Oh, I do have a book from a local library, so I get to press little buttons and it takes me to where I want to go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, let me just read it for you guys real quick then. So you were at the part, I believe, Loafers, where they were talking about how it reveals Halliday, and there's like a bunch of like teens, right, or like extras behind him.
We weren't at that part yet, Jesse. You have to wait.
Oh, I spoiled it? Oh, okay, you can just cut me out. Just edit this out. Okay, sorry, Loafers. Go back to what you were doing.
Yes, ma'am. He's also wearing the same clothing he wore in the Time cover photo. Faded jeans. And a vintage Space Invaders t-shirt! Oh!
Wow!
What a nerd, am I right, fellas?
So relatable. Halliday is at a high school dance being held in a large gymnasium. Yeah, I think we're coming up on it. He's surrounded by teenagers whose clothing, hairstyles, and his dance moves all indicate that the time period is the late 1980s.
Okay, so, the footnote. Let me read that out to you guys because it's hilarious.
Okay.
Careful analysis of the scene reveals all of the teenagers behind Halliday are actually extras from various John Hughes teen films who have been digitally cut and pasted into the video. So,
I love getting that information from a footnote rather than the actual book itself. Real great.
It's just, it's like, you know what?
Yeah,
That's
you know,
not
it's Ready
enough
Player
nerd
One, the
culture for
fucking
you guys.
Oxford Scholars Edition.
Well, when we read this the first time, me and my beautiful self assumed that someone else had written the footnotes. So I didn't realize it was done by the author, who's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Listen, it would be pretty
This
cringe if I
this
added
book,
this
of course, being
detail
based
in.
on real events.
Yeah, well, of course. But yeah, like, I'm sure whoever wrote this book, I don't know who the author's name is, and I'm not going to look it up. Whoever he
Actually,
is,
listen to the pod.
I don't need to know. So whomever it is,
Author's dead.
Is he?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Jesse, he's not actually dead.
It's gonna be real sad. My point was, I just see him being like, yeah, it really sucked.
Did you think that
Why
when
are
I
you
said
laughing
the
at
author
me?
said I meant it like completely literally? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Holy
You meant
shit.
death of the author.
Yeah, I meant death of the author.
Don't quote John Green at me.
Wait,
All
I
right,
have
let me
to,
make my point.
I have
Right, death
to
of the
inform us
author.
something.
Fucking Roland Barthes wrote death of the author. I'm gonna kill
Pretty
you.
sure that was John Green.
Wait, hold on, let me
John
say
Green.
something.
Yes, Sam?
So I was looking up the author, Mr. Ernest Cline. His name is Ernest, and I saw that he wrote a piece of poetry titled "The Importance of Being Earnest" in 2013.
Whoa, I can't believe he
that's
wrote the
very
importance
wild
of
to know.
being earnest.
Wow.
What's so important about it, Ernie? Let me know.
My funny little tidbit I was going to add in is I'm just imagining Ernie being like, it'd be super, super lame if I added in details like this. Like, it'd be too over the top. So let me write some footnotes so everyone knows the background characters of these scenes is characters from John Hughes films. But I'm not going to actually put in the book because that would be messy.
Okay. Yeah, you're totally right. I gotta say, like, going from, like, the fucking Witcher podcast where everyone's talking about French film theorists to you thinking that John Green came up with the death of the author is just such a fucking swerve.
I don't think John Green came up with Death of the Author. I know John Green came up with Death of the Author, and you're not going to try to convince me otherwise.
Maybe I'm not going to try to convince you, but I am going to try to break your shins. Let's continue. Halliday is dancing
like
too. He's doing a sort of back and forth motion with his arms and like humming a little song.
No, he's flossing.
Yeah, I was thinking the Fortnite default dance.
Yeah.
This really does got everything in it.
Something no one ever saw him do in real life. I don't believe that. This man has definitely done the Fortnite default dance before. Grinning maniacally, he spins in rapid circles, swinging his arms and head in time with the song.
Wait, how does that look?
Flawlessly cycling through several signature 80s dance moves. I'm not going to get specific, but you know. But Halliday has no dance partner. He is, as the saying goes, dancing with himself.
Dancing with himself.
Thanks, Sam.
Does that help?
Nailed it. A few lines of text appear briefly at the lower left hand of the screen. Listing the names of the band, the song's title, the record label, as the year of release, as if this were an old movie video, as if this were an old music video airing on MTV. Oingo Boingo, Dead Man's Party, MCA Records, 1985. Yeah, this I think is a pretty good indicator.
This is our first taste.
Yeah, of like this book getting really bad with this kind of shit. Like just listing off stuff from the Wikipedia page.
Wow.
This book is like what to me. I can understand how this book could be appealing to someone because this is what like Kingdom Hearts is to me. Like when I play Kingdom Hearts and I'm like, Winnie the Pooh's here? Hell yeah! So I can imagine if you were like some nerdy person that also grew up in the 80s, be like, Uncle Bongo's here? Hell yeah!
Yeah,
so Winnie the Pooh
I
is
get
a much
the
more
appeal.
beloved figure than Oingo Boingo.
Not if you're born in the 80s.
Hooray, Danny Elfman's here. By all means, hooray, Danny Elfman's here. But Danny Elfman is not here. Danny Elfman's barely embalmed corpse is here. Fucking...
Miss him.
Yeah, miss him. F in the chat for Danny Elfman, an extremely dead man. Yeah,
Is
but
he
you
dead?
know... No, he's
Yeah.
not. He's fine.
No, he is. Tim Burton.
Tom
Tim
Borton.
Burton just controls him like a flippin' mannequin on some strings.
It's true.
Shit. He does look kind of corpse-like.
But,
Hey, do you
yeah,
guys remember when Oingo Bongo wrote the song about little girls? That was weird.
I
We just
don't.
let that pass as a
I know almost
society.
nothing about Oingo Boingo. I
That's one of us.
Okay, like my point is the obvious point of this book seems to just be like making a bunch of references to other shit, and we're supposed to be here like I recognize that. And, like, obviously I understand the appeal of recognizing things. That does make the brain go awooga. But, you know, it's not very fucking interesting. Anyway.
It's fun to read in this format, though, because then we get to go.
Awooga.
I know that.
Yeah.
Awooga.
Awooga.
When the lyrics kick in, ba-da-bap-bap, Halliday begins to lip sync along. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da, still guy rating.
People think this guy's cool.
I feel like he's gonna kill me.
Oh, I feel like he's going to say a slur to me.
That too.
I feel like he's going to try something in an elevator. The dancers in the gymnasium behind him vanish, and the scene around him suddenly changes. Halliday now stands at the front of a funeral parlor, next to an open casket. A second...
Oh, wait.
What?
Footnote.
Yeah.
Okay. Footnote time. So, Okay, Sam, you're gonna like this one. His surroundings are actually from a scene in the 1989 film Heathers. Holiday appears to have digitally recreated the funeral parlor set and then inserted himself in it. So while we're listening to Loafers read this, we gotta be picturing the funeral scene in Heathers.
I have not seen Heathers.
Wait, you haven't seen Heathers?
Yeah, I haven't seen Heathers.
Someone's about to get gatekeeped for not seeing Heathers in this podcast.
I'm not gonna gatekeep anyone. I'm just saying it's a good film. I don't know what to
well,
tell
maybe
you.
episode 1.5, we'll watch Heathers and talk about it. Let us know in the comments above if you want a fucking Heathers watch along. Hey! Goo giggity goo goo goo. Where the fuck are we? Holiday now stands in front of the funeral parlor. Yep, a second, much older Holiday lies inside the casket, his body emaciated and ravaged by cancer. Content warning, I fucking guess.
Intimate.
Shiny quarters covered
really?
his eyelids.
Footnote. High-resolution scrutiny reveals that both quarters were minted in 1984.
Why? Who the fuck cares? Who cares, Ernie?
1984 quarters, y'all.
I couldn't have lived my whole life without knowing that those quarters were minted. 1984.
Christ alive. High resolution scrutiny. Does that mean like looking at them? Fuck off. It's either in high resolution or it's not. The younger Holiday gazes down at the corpse of his older self with mock sadness, then turns to address the assembled mourners. Footnote!
Alright, the mourners are actually all actors and extras from the same funeral scene in Heathers.
What are the ethics of
Christian
this?
Slater are clearly visible in the audience, sitting near the back. Did they kill him?
Winona Ryder and Christian Slater killed him.
Yeah,
That's
not the
plot.
characters.
It's just them explicitly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Winona.
Winona, how could you kill Mr. Halliday?
I could see Christian partaking.
I feel like Christian Slater has killed a man and will kill again. Discuss.
Oh man. Well, he should have gone for the head, and you know why? Halliday snaps his fingers, but get it? Thanks. You really leave me hanging there. Cool. He breaks the fourth wall. And it's episode 1.
Sounds like you're crunching bones.
Forget it, he says. Even at that speed, it would take me a month to read the whole thing. Sad to say, I don't have that kind of time. But why is it so long if he doesn't have any heirs? Let me just give you the highlights. The funeral...
Oh, thanks. I'm also thinking like a cut and maybe like bangs this time.
Shut the fuck up.
Cool.
This man really likes the drama. Like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my god, you guys! I'm reading out my will, but you guys wouldn't get it. So let's just go through it quick.
Yeah, it's the Tumblr did it like this, didn't it? It's fucking terms and conditions. It's just like, let's just show you the good stuff. But like, also it's fucking, you have to click accept or you can't use the website, so it's manufacturer's consent anyway. Halliday now stands in front of an immense bank vault's door. It's fucking Gringotts or something, probably. My entire estate...
Don't see the footnote for that one.
Yeah, no.
So I don't think it should go into our reading.
Okay. My entire estate, including a controlling share of stock in my company, Gregarious Simulation Systems, is to be placed in escrow until such time as a single condition I have set forth in my will is met. The first individual to meet that condition will inherit my entire fortune, currently valued in excess of $240 billion. I think that's more money than...
That's a lot of moolah.
Yeah, that's silly. That's silly. That's my review.
Why didn't he say 420?
That's the sex number.
Okay, so wait. When was this supposed to be set again? Is this
The
2040?
The future.
Yeah. So think about this like inflation. That's probably like $20.
Yeah, maybe. Halliday leans against a stack of gold bars, like a quippy bastard, just written by Joss Whedon over here, as the camera pulls in tight on his face. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what do you have to do to get your hands on all this moolah? Well, hold your horses, kids.
What do I have to do, Mr. Holiday?
This guy is desperate to be liked, and I feel like it's just the author coming through.
Yeah.
Hoo-yeah. Hoo-yeah.
Halliday snaps his fingers again, and it's Infinity War reference, as the vault disappears. In the same instant, Halliday shrinks and morphs into a small boy wearing brown corduroys and a faded the Muppet Show t-shirt. Footnote!
Yes, footnote. I got too excited and I clicked the footnote one. But this happened last time where you were reading and I got super distracted because I was just staring at the Muppets t-shirt line for like 5 minutes because I got real excited about Muppets t-shirt.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is how they get you. They just say something you recognize and you're like, oh, yeah.
I like Kermit.
Hello, Muppet.
Right. Footnote, Holiday now looks exactly as he did in school photos taken in 1980 when he was 8 years old. Wow, I wouldn't have guessed.
But I thought he was a
like
teenager in the 80s.
Yeah.
No, well,
fucking
9 years old, 1980, so 1985 he would have been.
I guess he would eventually become a teenager.
Why do details about what he actually physically looks like go into the footnote, but the fact that he's wearing a Muppet Show t-shirt get into the main text?
It does, though. It says Holiday shrinks and morphs into a small boy, but
he looks exactly the finer details. You know, I'm just saying the priorities. But, like, by all means, haha, the reference. How do they make it look like they're on the bikes? Anyway.
It's time to solve the light.
Very good.
Stop.
The young
started.
It is time to get things started. The young Halliday stands in a cluttered living room with burnt orange carpeting, wood-paneled walls, and a kitschy late 70s decor. We're traveling back in time. Okay, kid voice. This was the first video game system I ever owned, Halliday said, now in a child's voice. An Atari 2600. I got it for Christmas in 1979. I got it from my dad, and I was like, thank you so much, Dad. This means so much to me. And he was like, shut the fuck up, you pussy. He plops down in front of the Atari, picks up a joystick, not the controller, just the joystick, shattering it, and begins to play. My favorite game was this one, he says, nodding at the TV screen, where a small square is traveling through a series of simple mazes. It was called Adventure. Like many early video games, Adventure was designed and programmed by just one person. But back then, Atari refused to give its programmers credit for their work, so the name of a game's creator didn't actually appear anywhere on the packaging. So the guy who created Adventure, a man named Warren Robinette, decided to hide his name inside the game itself. He hid a key in one of the game's labyrinths. If you found this key, a small pixel-sized grey dot, you could use this to enter a secret room where Robinette had hidden his name. Very trans of him. Finding Robinette's Easter egg for the first time was one of the coolest video gaming experiences of my life. Because games are garbage.
Someone hasn't played Skyrim.
Games really went downhill. Have you seen Cyberpunk 2077? It doesn't fucking work. It bricks my PlayStation 4. It bricked my PlayStation 4 straight up. Can you believe this bullshit? I paid for this bullshit.
Why isn't Halliday talking about the real issues? God damn it.
The young Halliday drops his joystick. Again, the controller is destroyed and stands. As he does, the living room fades away as the scene shifts again. I'm happy for the scene. In the same instant, Halliday's appearance also changes once again into Sans as he morphs into his famous Oasis avatar, Anorak, a tall, robed wizard with a slightly more handsome version of the adult Halliday's face, minus the eyeglasses.
Wait.
The guy glasses.
He turned into a wizard, and he said, I'm not just going to be a wizard, I'm going to be a sexy wizard.
Yeah, I suppose so.
That's his fetish, Jesse. God.
I mean, we've all played The Sims. Who among us?
Yeah, but I didn't make myself into a sexier wizard. If I'm going to be a wizard, I'm going to be an old guy. I'm going to take on the aesthetic of, like, a RuneScape wizard. I'm going to have 5 pixels in my face, and that's it.
That's because you're a lesbian. Straight men want to be sexy.
And lesbians don't. No lesbian has ever wanted to be hot.
No lesbian wants to be sexy. We just want to be cozy.
Yeah, you might be onto something there. Anyway, before I died, Anorak says, speaking in a much deeper voice. Excuse me. I created my own Easter egg and hid it somewhere inside my most popular video game, The Oasis. The first person to find my Easter egg will inherit my entire fortune. You might think that I'm talking about the video game kind of Easter egg, but it's an actual Easter egg. I clapped it out digitally. Another dramatic pause. The egg is well hidden. I pooped stealthily. I didn't just leave it lying under a rock somewhere. I suppose you could say that it's locked inside a safe that is buried in a secret room that lies hidden at the center of a maze. It's a mystery wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a burrito, located somewhere.
Tasty.
He reaches up to tap his right temple. Up here. Okay, you Dumbledore motherfucker.
Shit, it's in his mind palace, guys. Just like Sherlock.
But that's gonna slide some fucking text across the screen so that people can take it out of context on Twitter and be bitchy about it.
Do you guys think he actually hid it under his mattress?
Entirely possible. There's only one way to
It's
find out.
not even in the video game.
It's not in the video game.
But don't worry. I've left a few clues lying around to get everyone started. And here's the first one. He gets his dick out. Anorak makes a grand gesture with his right hand. Again, he gets his dick out. And 3 keys appear,
He goes,
spinning slowly in the air in front of him. They appear to be made of copper, jade, and clear crystal. As the keys...
Isn't that what the 3 wise men gave Jesus?
Yeah.
no!
Yes, it is. They gave him video game keys so he could unlock doors.
We're all in a simulation. Jesus was the first player one.
Truly. It's all well and good for us to make jokes about Ready Player One, but we want to talk to you about the true Player One, a carpenter from Nazareth.
BP1 before player 1.
As the gold, frankincense, and myrrh continue to spin, Anorak recites a piece of verse. Does anyone know any Bible poems?
Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above.
That's enough of that.
That's not a Bible verse, but it's
as he speaks each line, it appears briefly in flaming subtitles across the bottom of screen. 3 hidden keys open 3 secret gates, wherein the errant will
Wait.
What?
No. Let me take this one on. Let me do this one.
oh, Jesus.
These 3 hidden keys upon 3 secret gates where
Is this another 3 wise men again?
tasted for worthy trades.
Tasted for worthy trades.
With
You said
skill
tasted.
to survive. These straits
You're not even reading the poem right.
will reach the end where the prize awaits.
Cool, what was that?
Wow. I just know the Star of Wonder. So it's like a 3 wise men thing.
Oh.
Fun bit. Great bit.
Great bit. I'd like suitably enough for the subject matter. That's reference humor, and if you don't know the thing it's referencing, sorry. I sure didn't. Good job, though.
You didn't understand my reference to these 3 kings?
No!
Oh, that's what that
We've got
is.
different things in Ireland. We've kind of got our own thing going on.
I don't think that's true.
You're the only one who knows what a 3 king is.
I don't know that song. I learned a lot of hymns in my Catholic-ass as primary school, but...
It's not really a hymn, it's just like a Christmas song. I'm pretty sure Justin Bieber sang it.
I don't know it anyway.
No, Justin Bieber sang Little Drummer Boy and said,
Oh yeah, I know Little Drummer Boy, of course.
Yeah, it's on the same level.
Fucking... Was it...
Can we read the book, please?
Absolutely not. As he finishes...
Oh.
Oh!
A few seconds later, he arrives at a pair of massive wooden doors set into the cavern's rocky wall.
Sounds just like Minecraft.
It sounds just like Undertale, reference humor, and there are shields and dragons carved into their surfaces. I couldn't playtest this particular game. It's called Minecraft, so I worry that I may have hidden my Easter egg a little too well. Made it too difficult to reach.
Forgot.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to change that, though. I mean, who gives a shit? It's only $240 billion. That's like $20 in 2040 money. If that's the case, it's too late to change anything that... Okay, that's valid. Fucking development issues. So I guess we'll see. I think this guy knows that they can reach the Easter egg, and he's just adding drama by lying.
Of course, that sounds like anything a tech guru has said.
Yeah. Anorak throws open the double doors, revealing an immense treasure room filled with piles of glittering gold coins and jewel-encrusted goblets.
Footnote!
Okay, so, sorry, I got distracted because I thought you said jewel-encrusted goblins, and I was like, that's sick. That's cool. Okay, Analysis reveals dozens of curious items hidden among the mounds of treasure, most notably several early home computers, an Apple
IIe.
Commodore 64, an Atari 800 XL, and a TRS-80 color computer. Dozens of video game controllers for varied variety.
Excuse me, it's a TRS-80 color computer 2. Thank you very much.
No, I think that's saying, like, what else? The 2 is for what else is in the room.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's just like text speak,
Jesse.
like real fucking 2003 ass text speak.
Jesse, it's not.
Anyways, the room got a bunch of fucking dice in it. Okay?
Hundreds
there.
Cool, thanks for the
Hundreds
footnote.
of dice.
Hundreds of
You're
dice.
welcome.
Then he steps into the open doorway and turns to face you, the viewer, like Deadpool, stretching out his arms to hold open the giant's double doors. Footnote again.
Footnote! Alright, a freeze frame of the scene appears nearly identical to the painting by Jeff Aisley that appeared on the cover of Dungeon Master's Guide, a Dungeons & Dragons rulebook. Oh, I know that one.
Christ.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, Anorak answers, suck my dick! Let the hunt for the holidays Easter egg begin! Then he vanishes in a flash of light, leaving the viewer to gaze through the open doorway at the glittering mounds of treasure that lay beyond. Then the screen fades to black. So, what do we think of all that?
Yeah, he just seems like really dramatic and wild. And I don't know if I like Mr. Halliday. He seems like an Elon Musky kind of guy, but for
I
video
said that
games.
the last time we watched it too. I was like, he's got like the Silicon Valley vibe to him. But also he did appear in Gold Dust, so I do appreciate that.
I think that this man is a combination of Elon Musk and Dumbledore, and therefore I think he's definitely a bad person. It remains to be seen whether the book is clued in on that.
That's your inspectual reading of it?
Yeah, that's my read so far. I've been thinking a little bit about Harry Potter lately because while we're recording this, we're just out of Christmas. Yesterday was the last day of Christmas. And, I ended up rewatching a fair bit of Harry Potter. Not really intentionally. It was just kind of on in the way that Harry Potter is on the TV. And, like, I've kind of been reflecting on how Dumbledore, like Yoda, not before him, Yoda at the same time, kind of looked at the Dark Lord of his universe having a plan and putting that plan into motion. And instead of making like Gandalf and being like, okay, better do something about this and do something specific, Dumbledore's just kind of like, let's see how this plays out. And I'm getting that kind of a vibe off Halliday, that he's just sort of like meant to give off a genius vibe, but he's an asshole and an idiot. That's my read.
Well,
that's the vibe I'm picking up on.
Have you guys seen the movie?
No.
No.
I respect
Okay, so I
myself a little
have.
bit.
And in the movie, well, I saw it in theaters, so I don't.
Cool.
What I remember from that is in this beginning scene, it's very apocalyptic where they live. Like, it's like, meant to be extremely, like, in the pits of, like, depression, you know, it's very sad. So you have to think of the ethics of Mr. Holiday, being, like, this super rich millionaire, billionaire dude in a world. He's basically the Jeff Bezos of
The fucking what?
the
Jeff Bezos?
Yes, I can't pronounce anything, okay? It's not a bit. I'm just bad at it.
You put in a whole consonant there.
Bezos. The Jeff Bezos of this world, because all these other people are starving, and he's like, why don't you come get all this money in my video game instead of donating it?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I don't understand is how do they even know that the money is real? Like, he's obviously in a VR simulation. He could just be lying. He could just have no money and just be like, it's me, Mr. Halliday, and I want to trick poor people.
I don't know. I guess, like, the book wants us to believe that this man has $240 billion, so I think it's fair enough to just roll with that. It definitely sounds like the movie is getting at least some kind of basic, this man is insanely rich and everyone else is insanely poor, and that's actually bad. So,
That's the vibe I remember from it.
Yeah. We will see if that exists in the book, because that might have just been Spielberg.
Yeah, good old spiel. Alright,
Good old spiel.
Do we want to continue?
Yeah. At the end of the video, Halliday included a link to his personal website, which no one would know otherwise, which has changed drastically on the morning of his death. For over a decade, the only thing posted there has been a short looping animation, a GIF if you will, that showed his avatar, Anorak, jacking off in a medieval library, hunched over a scarred work table.
Oh, he is
mixing
jacking
potions, if you know what I mean, and poring over dusty spell books. What was in the spell books? With the large painting of a black dragon, whatever you're into, visible on the wall behind him. But now that animation was gone, seized by the CIA, and in its place where there was a high score list like those that used to appear in old coin-operated video games, in case you don't know what a high score list, but still bought a book called Ready Player One. This high score list quickly became to be known as the scoreboard. Imagine fucking that.
Whoa! Crazy.
Really pushing the boat out here. Just below the scoreboard was an icon that looked like a small leather-bound book, which included a free downloadable copy of Anorak's Almanac, a collection of hundreds of Halliday's undated journal entries, some fucking Skyrim shit in here. I almost said Skyfall. The almanac was over 1,000 pages long, which is pretty standard for Skyrim, actually, to my understanding. But it contained few details about Halliday's personal life or his day-to-day activities, just like the book so far, really. Most of the entries were a stream of consciousness observations on various classic video games, science fiction and fantasy novels, movies, comic books, and 80s pop culture, mixed with humorous diatribes denouncing everything from organized religion to diet soda. This sounds like...
So this guy just fucking sucks.
This sounds like the worst possible thing. It's just a bad diary. I mean...
It's just a bunch of reviews and then him going on, like, tangents.
Yeah, just a bunch of reviews and then tangents. Where's the drugs? Where's the weird sex?
Regular Pepsi's not as good as retro Pepsi. I only want to drink retro Pepsi. I don't want to drink normal Pepsi.
I miss the Pepsi that Michael Jackson drank.
The Hunt, as the contest came to be known, that was the name of a A24 movie recently. It was very controversial. Do we remember that?
I watched it. We went to go see. I went to a drive-through theater.
Mm-hmm.
No, drive-in theater. During the pandemic, as one does, and we were watching a double feature of Gremlins.
Oh,
and
that
Goonies.
was what that movie was?
Yeah,
A
which
double
is like
feature of
super...
Gremlins and Goonies. Wow.
Yeah, that's why we're perfect for this book. But the problem is on the other screen, which was in our view, they were playing The Hunt. So basically the entire time I watched The Hunt instead of watching Gremlins with no audio.
Wow. But no, like with the audio of Gremlins, surely.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds amazing. That sounds incredible. Were there any little moments of serendipitude?
No. I
Okay, having the fucking chat.
I want to clarify that there was Empire Strikes Back behind us.
Oh my God.
I was going through the motions of, I was watching Gremlins, I was watching The Hunt, I was watching Empire Strikes Back. I had a whole thing going on.
Oh, just beaming 3 different movies into your eye sockets at once. The youth, am I right?
Which is basically what this book is.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. What a mess. Okay, anyway, The Hunt, as the contest came to be known, quickly wove its way into global culture. Like winning the lottery, finding Halliday's Easter egg became a popular fantasy among adults and children alike. It was a game anyone could play, and at first, there seems to be no right or wrong way to play it, apart from, not finding the thing, which no one did. But other than that, the only thing Anorak's almanac seems to indicate was that a familiarity with Halliday's various obsessions would be essential to finding the egg. Yeah, this is the thing that I've heard about the book versus the movie, that the movie kind of does this as a Philosopher's Stone, again, Harry Potter, Philosopher's Stone style, you gotta solve puzzles to find the Easter egg, whereas the book is more like, you've got to know about this strange old bastard's personal interests in order to solve the mystery and get the money, and that's how it's done. And I think I know which idea I prefer.
Yeah, so he's basically just bringing back the 80s. He's like, I'm dying now, and it's my time to bring back this glorious decade of, I don't know what people did in the 80s, like Speed.
Die of AIDS.
And big hair, I guess.
Yeah. 80s were pretty bad. Reagan was president.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thanks, Ronnie. 50 years after the decade had ended... Math. 2030s. No, 2040s, after it ended. Okay.
2040.
The movies, music, games, and fashions of the 1980s were all the rage once again. No, that's more now. By 2041, spiked hair and acid-washed jeans were back in style, and covers of the hit 80s pop songs by contemporary bands dominated the music charts. Sounds awful. People...
Oh, this is just now.
Yeah, this is just now. It fucking sucks, and it's his fault.
Does it ever stop?
A new subculture was born, composed of the millions of people who now devoted every free moment of their lives to searching for Halliday's egg. It was called Vaporwave. At first, these individuals were known simply as egg hunters, but this was quickly truncated to the nickname Cunters.
If I was a man, I'd be the man. If I was a man, when I went to the club, I would call myself an egg hunter.
Oh, hell yeah. How do you like your eggs in the morning?
Gunter.
What?
How do you like your eggs in the morning? Fertilized?
I don't know, I like a nice scramble.
During the first year of the Hunt controversy from A24, being a cunter was highly fashionable, and nearly every VR chat user claims to be one. When the first anniversary of Halliday's death arrived, we're just zooming through Chapter 1, fair enough, the fervour surrounding the contest began to die down, An entire year has passed, as no one has found anything. Not a single key or gate. No gold, no frankincense, no myrrh. Another year passed. And another. Still nothing. The
Why
general...
is this making me genuinely sad?
Aww.
And another year went by. And another. Then, on the evening of February 11th, 2045, an avatar's name appears at the top of the scoreboard for the whole world to see. After 5 long years, the copper key has finally been found by an 18-year-old kid living at a trailer park on the outskirts of Oklahoma City. That kid was me! Dozens of books, cartoons, movies, and miniseries had attempted to tell the story of everything that happens next, but every single one of them got it wrong. So I want to set the record straight, once and for all. To be fucking continued, am I right, fellas?
Oh, are you clapping?
Hooray. So, what do we think?
I mean, I'm enjoying it so far.
It's not the worst so far, which is the best I can say about it.
I just want to say, when we first started filming the podcast, the first time we went to do it, I did make a little funny joke that I feel like by the end of this podcast, we're not only going to love this book, but we're going to love each other a little bit more.
That's true.
Aww. Fuck you.
Alright, I think...
No, we're gonna get a divorce.
We're gonna, at the end of this, we're divorced. Our opinions about Ready Player One are gonna divide this marriage too far. Anyways, all jokes aside, I have heard some not good things about this book, so I'm excited for us 5 episodes in being like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah. We will always be honest. That is the Reading Player One promise. We will always be honest.
I've
Or
never
is that
promised
also
that.
a lie? Yeah, we didn't agree
Where
to
did I
that.
sign on to that?
We didn't agree to being honest all the time.
Yeah. We actually we're going to lie about everything, just absurdly, like transparently. That's the Reading Player One promise. We
My
both
name's not
promises
even Jesse.
hold.
Oh shit.
One lies, one tells the truth, and they're the same person. I haven't written theme music for this yet, but my idea for it is that I would do a little rearrangement. That little joke song is originally by Demi Adijuibe, and I just want to give credit for that I did the rearrangement, or I will do the rearrangement in my future, but you, the listeners, past, if you understand me. Oh, it's a little bit timey-wimey. So, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Other than that, hello again. My name is Mark Loverslarity. You can find me on marklaherty.wordpress.com. That's MARKLAHERTY.wordpress.com. I co-wrote a short story for Shvei Down the Middle, which is a collection of short stories set in the Doctor Who universe. It's spelled CWEJ Down the Middle, and you can find it on Amazon, and I think you can find it in Barnes and Noble. And also I have a Patreon if you want to support me at patreon.com/loafers as in the shoe. And I'm on Twitter at Loafers Writes, loafers as in the shoe, writes as in the verb. Yeah, do you two have anything you want to plug? You two don't have online presences in the way that I do.
I just want to say my name is Justine Reese, and don't look for me.
Sam. Don't look for me. My name is Sam Big Slayer, and if you find me, we're done.
If you see either of these people in real life, leave them be.
All right, and with that, we have to come up with our outro line, which I think should just be, "We love you guys, and you're special."
Aww.
We love you.
Jesse, no.
Maybe cut that one.
No.
All right.
No, that's
Anyways,
good.
we love you guys.
No, she's referencing Trump.
Oh my God! No, we can't reference the fucking Fash.
Cut that one out.
Okay.
But anyways, we love you guys.
You're very special.
I know. You're not special.
You're not
done with
special.
it.
Fuck you. Okay.
You are special, and I love you.
Cool. Yeah, we love you. Thank you. Tune in.
We love you.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah. Do let us know if you want us to do the fucking Heathers thing. That wasn't a joke. Well, it was a joke, but it wasn't a joke. You know what I mean. Okay, that's the end of the
I'll
podcast
force
now.
Loafers to watch Heathers.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Remember Akira? That's from Japan. Remember Galaga and Mrs. Pac-Man? Remember Highlander and Highlander 2? Remember Star Trek? We certainly do. Reading Player 1.